second time.
Senator Cruz, I was just wondering, what's your thoughts about Leader Schumer and Vice President Harris meeting with Texas lawmakers this week? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's an example of how Democrats are trying to politicize this issue. You know, the rhetoric that Joe Biden has used, the rhetoric that Kamala Harris has used, is disgraceful. They have called common sense steps to enhance voter integrity, to enhance election integrity. They've called that Jim Crow 2.0. And that language is designed to be fear-mongering. Now, it's worth remembering what Jim Crow 1.0 was. Jim Crow 1.0 were laws written by Democratic politicians, and 100% of those laws were written by Democrats in office, designed to prevent the voters from ever voting the Democrats in office out of office. Jim Crow was an abomination. And I got to say, if you want to talk about what is Jim Crow 2.0, it is the Corrupt Politicians Act. It actually has the identical purpose. This is Democrats in office that don't want the voters to be able to vote them out. And so they're trying to rig the system to steal the right to vote from legal voters. And so the degree of demagoguery we're seeing from Senate Democrats screaming, the Georgia Act is Jim Crow, the Texas Act is Jim Crow, when they don't know what's in the bill. They don't care what's in the bill because it's all designed to try to herd people into voting for the Corrupt Politicians Act here in Washington. And that would profoundly undermine the integrity of our elections. You know, the last serious examination of voter fraud was in 2004. It was the Carter-Baker Commission, chaired by President Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, and former Secretary of State James Baker, a Republican. Now, by any measure, Jimmy Carter is not some crazy right-wing kook. The Carter-Baker Commission concluded that voter fraud is real, that it is a problem, that it is persistent, that we need to take steps to deal with it. What did the Carter-Baker Commission recommend? It recommended voter ID. It recommended eliminating ballot harvesting. It identified ballot harvesting as the greatest opportunity for voter fraud. What does the Corrupt Politicians Act do? It literally takes the recommendations of the Carter-Baker Commission. Where is fraud most likely? And it expands all of them. Now, look, in law and in life, there's a reasonable inference that people intend the consequences of your actions. When you look at the recommendations from a serious bipartisan commission on voter fraud about how to combat voter fraud, and you do exactly the opposite, the natural inference is the authors of this bill want there to be more voter fraud. They know ballot harvesting invites wide-scale fraud. But cynically, they believe it benefits their partisan interests. I think that's really unfortunate.
Anything else? Yeah, right here.